if it is, if you can see
yes,
my
I
presentation.
can certainly see that. I can see that and hear you.
Yeah, also, and there is no issues. There are no problems then with presentations. You can see it in presenting mode. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Thanks a lot. It's really nice to be here with you today. And when Julian offered this opportunity, I immediately said yes. And the idea was to report about extracurricular activities and why I regard them as very important in the academic environment. As Julian said, I have to admit I had in the past no experience with extracurricular activities. I'm an engineer. I grew up as a farmer in Greece, and then at some point an interesting proposal for a project came, and this was from the University of Reading. I will say more details about it, the EFSET project. At the beginning, I was a little bit hesitating. I said, what an engineer, a pure engineer that has worked in the industry can offer to students as extracurricular activities? What can I tell them? I will just give a hint that at the end, I learned more than my students, and this was also extremely insightful for me. So let us make a start by saying, okay, what is extracurricular activities? Briefly mentioning is an extracurricular activity or subject is not part of the usual university course. So whatever you can think that is outside your normal university curriculum can be regarded as extracurricular activity. But then we have the EFSET, and the entire presentation today, my part at least, will move around the EFSET, because this was the initiative for me to be involved in extracurricular activities. So EFSET stands for European Food Systems Education and Training. It started after submitting a proposal to the EIT Food for funding. It started at the beginning of January 2019. And my participation was for 3 years until December 2021. I will report mainly about the first year, who was the year that we set up everything. And it was the most interesting year because after that, after the February, March, as we all remember, the COVID pandemic started, so it influenced as well the EFSET. But we had the first period was extremely interesting for us. So food systems, this is just, it can be regarded today as an example. As I said, I'm an engineer related to food systems. I had no experience. Of course, I knew the term and I was a little bit involved in some initiatives. So then we started saying food systems thinking, collaborative problem solving, graduate skills and employability. We need to bring people together, we said. There is no way anymore to find solutions to problems by only focusing on one discipline. So we said we need to bring people together. What a great opportunity to do that in a university, in an academic environment. That's why I named my presentation the importance of these extracurricular activities in the academic environment. So the consortium of, have my pointer, of the EFSET, it all started from the University of Reading, from Dr. Alex Arnall, together with Dr. Alex Pope, who approached us and said, we want to create the EFSET. It was not only universities, as we said, the coordinating unit was at Reading, then it was the university in Madrid, it was also the university in Turin, in Italy, and at that time, maybe I forgot to mention, the entire process was taking place at the University of Hohenheim, where I was employed. I came to Geisenheim just only 1.5 years ago. So, but then we said, okay, but we need industry participation. We need industry partners, not only to have the academic environment, but we have to have industry involvement, to have the connection maybe a little bit more to the real life problems. Not only industry partner, but research institution, and also farmer association, like the Grupo AN in Spain. So all these people were the core of the EFSET that we were discussing how to set up these extracurricular activities in order to achieve the EFSET objectives. You see, I have to mention that the EFSET project, which was in the UK, was the initiative for the EFSET project. The EFSET project was a UK-based project based on food systems by having partners from the UK, and the basis was on food systems thinking, graduate attributes and employability, innovative teaching and learning, and skills for change. So they had already, if I'm not wrong, the EFSET project had started in 2015. And the idea that Alex and Harley had in Reading is we would like to have this positive experience that we had so far in the UK to make it pan-European, to bring more people together, to talk about food systems, to develop more activities, extracurricular activities at the European level. Why food systems? Someone will ask. As I said, I'm not an expert on food systems, but what I immediately realized when we started discussing about food system is the complexity. Here is just a representation of the interconnections of all different actors, of all different perspectives, how the global food system is.
You're mute, Professor.
We seem to have lost you, Dimitrios. You seem to be on mute. Dimitrios, you seem to be muted. I don't think I can unmute you. I think you need to do that yourself.
It will be better, yeah? I don't know, for some reason I was... Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you, yeah.
Okay, for some reason something was... okay, you can tell me where it was the point that you could not hear me anymore. I can start again.
Share your screen again.
Yeah, sorry for that, apologies.
No problem, no problem. And if you go back one slide, I think.
I think it was here, yeah?
Yeah, you were there, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I will continue. So I was saying that the food system, we started thinking, okay, what will be the example that we offer to our students? And the global food system is a very nice example about the complexity that nowadays we have to face when we are trying to offer solutions to challenges and problems that we are facing. And we are seeing that every day. We are seeing how our value chain is being influenced, how our global food system is being influenced by various parameters, by various actors, by various incidents. So the EFSET objectives were, first of all, to establish a pioneering consortium of universities to deliver collaborative training and capacity building in a holistic approach related to food systems. The second one was to have inter-university collaboration. That means also to take advantage of the latest research approaches that various universities around Europe have been conducting. Then to enhance student learning, insights and experiences by offering a range of topics to set their study within a full food systems context. We were targeting, to be honest, on postgraduate students, so master and PhD students, that they already had gained some experience with basic studies, so they were able to bring already some knowledge, some know-how related to the previous studies. So the student skills framework, we had these three main pillars: skills, knowledge and understanding, and values and attitudes. Related to skills, We were aiming at a systems analysis, an effective communication among partners, and an interdisciplinary working. This was extremely important in order to have a successful outcome for the EFSET. Knowledge and understanding, knowledge about the food system, systems thinking, and complexity. People should be aware, and at the end of the project, they should be having more insight about what is complexity, why our solutions are nowadays so challenging, because we have to face with this increased complexity. And values and attitudes, transdisciplinarity, theoretical and methodological pluralism, and reconciliation. So what was it that the EFSET wanted to offer? First of all, a collaborative cross-university pan-European food system training program. Provided graduate students with enhanced skills to provide solutions to challenges related to food system. It should have been completely voluntary, without any commitment. This is a key component, and I will also talk about this later, how these projects can be successful. Extracurricular activities should be completely voluntary. It should be based on the motivation of the people that are joining to these activities to have a successful outcome. No assessment. It was not assessed. There was no examination. There was no test. And of course, it took place outside teaching hours. This is extremely important about the success of extracurricular activities, not to collide with the responsibilities and the duties that the students have for their normal curriculum. And at the end, we gave also a certificate of participation. Of course, here, in order to get the certificate, you had to attend a number of events and workshops. And this was also beneficial for many students to show it for their CVs, for the applications after they're finishing their studies, or even for a PhD program. We had 4 units. As I said, the presentation today is not that much about the content. There are more other people that have more experience to talk about the content. For me, it was just to give the frame. What can be an extracurricular activity and what can make it a successful program? The first unit that we had was the rich picture. So we were giving example to students. Here is an example, the industrial cup of tea. And they had the mission in 1 hour, 1.5 hours, to make the rich picture, the connections by using icons, by using arrows, by using text, whatever they could think of, to make a rich representation about the interconnections that influences this specific problem. This was the initial step to enter the food systems. The second was the BATWOV approach. And you can see here what BATWOV stands for. So beneficiaries, who benefits from in this system? Who is the actor? Who is taking decisions? What is the transformation needed? What is the world view? Who owns products? Who are the victims, as we were calling them? When you have a new food system, is there another stakeholder, another person that is really having some negative effects from this new system? And of course, at the end, the environmental aspect of this system. The third one was related to communication skills. We are facing a problem. We are discussing with people. We are discussing sometimes for the same thing, and we don't know what the other side is really receiving from us. And here, soft skills were extremely important for the entire program, but also for the third unit. How can you make a successful presentation? How can you assess what kind of audience you have in front of you, and how can you approach this audience to have a successful discussion with them? And the last one of the 4 units was the theory of change. We said, okay, after we have described the food system, the system that we would like to make a change, we have identified the beneficiaries, the actors, the victims, the transformations. We have seen the skills that we need. How do we make a change? What kind of processes, what kind of steps do we need to make to start, just to make a start? And then we say, okay, we start from some point, and then not through a miracle occurs, but specific steps. So this was the problem that we were setting to our students, and they had to consider, coming from different backgrounds, we should never be forgetting that. What are the steps to make a change. Sometimes it sounds easy, but believe me, and when you put the problem on a piece of paper, you are seeing the challenges. We are offering to our students some materials. So we also had an online learning platform. So then every time that we were planning a workshop or a meeting, we were offering them in advance some material that they could study in their free time to get some insights that would be helping them to understand better the workshop and what we are trying to do in this extracurricular activity. This was the plan, just to bring the frame of how it was. So, as I said, it started 2019, January. The first period, we were preparing the material, how we will perform the workshops, how we will approach students. And you see here, in 2019, in October, we had our launch event. So the aim was to bring as many people as possible to present the EFSET and what the EFSET wants to do and convince them to join. Then the plans, there were 2 workshops in 2019. We had a Christmas party that was, as I said, was completely free. It was offered to people to come, meet and socialize and have another perspective there in the Christmas party. In fact, we asked the students that they present to us some examples of food systems from their own countries. And in 2020, the next workshops, as I said, the 4 units, we had meetings planned for March and July, an away weekend in Turin and summer school in Reading. But as you all can remember, these were all cancelled. It was just the beginning of the pandemic. So thanks to all our collaborators, we managed to conduct this somehow virtually and to keep the pace and to keep the interest for our students. So communication channels, how we realized that we will be successful in bringing students there. The aim was to bring as many as possible in the launch event, in the presentation of the program. So we had face-to-face interactions through our teaching, through our research projects, through our visits to guest departments, or other departments from the university, websites, email communication. We used social media with banners, newsletters from university. We were contacting the communication department of the university. We had mass media publications, or even printed materials. We were, I still remember, we were outside the canteen, and then we were giving to students printed materials in advance to inform them about the EFSET. What is the EFSET? And to convince them to come, to listen, and convince them, of course, to participate in it. So then we reached the launch event, and we were so happy to see more than 90 students in the room. At the beginning, we were thinking that we had a room that fits 100 students, if it will be only a few, and the students started coming, and it was such an amazing thing to see your efforts for 9 months. We started January until September. That was successful, and the students were convinced. But then we also realized that the students, and it was also insightful for me, they want to join such activities. They are willing to discuss. They are willing to enhance their curriculum with extracurricular activities. At the same time, it was happening in 3 universities at the time, at Reading. You see here our coordinator, Alex Arnold, and on stream, it was Hohenheim. So you could feel, the students could feel this inter-university, this pan-European effort that we were trying to do. And this was one aspect that they also liked. We also had the University of Turin with their students, so they could feel that, okay, there is an interdisciplinary team, but also from different universities. And of course, we would like to travel and meet these people in the future. We also had industry representatives. We had Fabienne Seibold from John Deere that came to us and presented to the students the perspective of the industry. Why is it important to join such activities, and why it's important while they are doing their recruitment for their new employees, how they focus on such activities. And this was very much interesting for our students to hear. Then we moved to the workshops. We had the first one around end of October or November, if I remember correctly. We had the fear, okay, they came to the launch event. They listened to us. They were very much positive. But how many out of them have we now convinced to come and do some work? Because it was starting at 6:30 at 7 p.m. until 9. It was open to discussion. And then we saw that we had the first workshop, 60 students. So out of 90, 60 students were convinced and really showed up. We had them in groups. It was really rewarding to see that the effort that you have spent, that that you have convinced people to come. We started discussing about them. The first time I was talking about food systems, I was always teaching about agricultural engineering. And this was an amazing process for me as well to reevaluate my expertise and my teaching. The students were all active. We only have positive memories. They were producing the rich pictures. They were presenting it. They were discussing it. They were having an interaction. It was something very much interesting to see. It kept going. We kept 50, 60 students every workshop to have in the room. So we were dividing around 6. We had 8, 9, 10 groups of people working on the challenges and on the problems that we were setting at the beginning. An example of the bat wolf that I mentioned earlier, just to see that the people were really working, they were discussing, and they were thinking, okay, who is influenced by this change? Who is getting some benefits? Who is the victim of this change? It kept continuing. Of course, as I said, then we had the pandemic. We did it online, which was also successful considering the situation. And then because students were already in their home countries, we had people all over the world. We had people joining our virtual summer school all over the world. And also, we're trying to keep through the EFSET program, this academic environment through the pandemic. This is what the feedback that we're having from our students. So lessons learned as I reach to the end of my presentation about the extracurricular activities. Without being an expert, I will point this again. How can you have a successful extracurricular activity? It should be free of charge. We never charge fees to our students. We just provided a platform for students to interact. We were not strictly controlling them because we wanted to see their creativity developing. No accreditation. There was some discussion in the beginning. Should we have it with ECTS points? Should we have it in the normal curriculum? At the end, we all decided, and this was a very important decision that we took at the beginning of the project, no commitment, no accreditation, no ECTS points, completely free for the students. We're trying to mix people from different backgrounds, to rotate groups, whatever you can think to start bringing more and more people together. We never had the same group for all the workshops. They were rotating. Support inclusion, bring people together from different cultures, from different perspectives, to try to motivate them to set questions and to ask questions, and also to report about their experience from their home countries. Because food system, as I said, I'm an agricultural engineer. It does not rely on high-tech technology. We need every single component to have it as part of the solution. So set the framework, but be willing to let the content evolve. Allow the students, and they will do it. As soon as you put the framework, they will take over, and the result will be extremely important. Some self-reflection, if I'm allowed. It was amazing for me to have productive breaks, as I was calling them, from my normal research, teaching, and administrative activities in Geisenheim. It's important for the trainer to be trained too. I found it very much insightful because I had to train myself to become a better teacher, to become more willing and more insightful for a multidisciplinary approach. As I said, it improved my teaching skills. It broadened my knowledge and expertise about food systems that I could also refer to for my research applications or my teaching activities. developed a multidisciplinary approach. I had so much feedback from different disciplines that under normal conditions, by teaching a specific course, I would never be having. And the most important, I got to know future colleagues. Some of them continuing as my PhD candidates, as collaborators from the industry partners, and it was an amazing experience. But the journey continues. It goes on. We have with us Paula and her colleague that they were also they took part in the EFSET program, and it was nice to know them, and I'm very happy that they accepted also this invitation to talk about a little bit how EFSET influenced their work and what they are doing also right now, because this is very interesting for us. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm really looking forward to a fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dimitrios. Shall we hand straight over to Paula, and then
yes,
we'll take questions at the end? Is that okay, Paula?
Yes, no problem.
So do you want to share your screen? Can you do that yourself?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. So I think that, yeah, now just go ahead and start. Please let me know if you can interrupt me during the presentation if something was not clear. And well, I'm very happy to be invited to this webinar, and also to share how the EFSET experience influenced to what is today Holy Roots, that is a very new startup in the food system. And yeah, how actually, without even think about how the knowledge and experience that happened there will impact in today's the company that we have. So I'm Paola Varela. I'm very happy to be here. My colleague Duyen Do unfortunately could not join us, but yeah, I'm here for it. So let's start. So I will start with a brief introduction of what is Holy Roots about, the product itself, and at the end I would like to emphasize how were these experiences in the EFSET that you can see it in today Holy Roots company mission and the team. So here is me and my colleague Duyen Do. Already you can see that we are an internationally team. I come from Mexico. I was born and raised in Mexico City. I studied international business and economics, and before actually doing my master's degree in bioeconomy, I didn't really have a very good idea of the food systems and the challenges that are within, and how we can create great impact upon the choices that we do in our daily basis. And also I was quite afar from circular economy and sustainability. Then my colleague Duyen Do, she comes from Vietnam. She is a food scientist and also did a master in the same University of Hohenheim, in bioeconomy. I'm very curious, actually, before being together as company founders, we met in the EFSET because we were okay. This sounds like a super interesting seminar. It's also very connected to bioeconomy. It's one of the pillars of the food system. So we really want to get more about it from different perspectives. Me from a business-wise perspective, and my friend from a more technical one. But there in the EFSET, we had the opportunity to see all perspectives, which was something that really opened us our mind to then in the future found the company Holy Roots. So without much more to say, let's talk about what is Holy Roots about. So probably a lot of you know the concept of food waste. So, but the first thing that comes to our mind when we talk about food waste is the food at the refrigerator that we have not ate and then it's already moldy, or also the food waste at supermarkets. But very few are the ones that think about also the food loss that happens at farm level. I actually, before also I didn't know the difference between these two concepts, and it was also during my experience during the EFSET that I could understand better how the food system works. And it was the first approach that I have with the situation of food loss. So yeah, in Holy Roots, we realized there's too much little done at this stage. And there's tons of food waste, food loss today at farm level. So from a social and economics perspective, we have that the farmers, and these are facts, not from the literature, but also from our farmers, that they could lose 50% of production sometimes. The reasons are diverse, but for example, we have, I will come to that later, but we have beetroot that sometimes comes in very big, it's very big, like 5 kilos. And nobody of us will really buy 5 kilos beetroot, so they cannot really sell it to the supermarket because the supermarket says, no, not my customer will not buy that. So what happens? It ends in the field, or in the best scenario, it goes to the biogas. But then we have an environmental problem, because if food that was grown to feed us for human consumption should not be destined to field or biogas needs. So that is because it's a waste of resources. So until we visit the farmers, we really could say that, yeah, it's a fact that there's a lot of food loss today, and there's a lot of technology already invested to obviously mitigate this problem, but it's still a problem to nowadays. And it's not only by beetroot, we had also carrot, we had cabbage, we had leek, as you can see here in the photo, that the reasons could be also, they are also diverse. For example, the leek, sometimes it has a little spot brown in the green part, and that is not accepted by the supermarkets. So, and also I'm not talking also about the supermarkets. Sometimes our farmers say, well, then I have the only option, just maybe give it for free, or to give it, to do some soup and then give it away to my workers, which are very good ideas. I mean, at the end, people will be consuming that vegetable, but then you have an economic problem that these farmers already invest money and they are giving away that profit. So what we are doing at Holy Roots is that we want to change that, and we are rescuing vegetables that not pass the farmer's gate and transforming into tasty and healthy food. And by rescuing, I'm not referring that we have this food for free. We are paying for this food, so to make it socially, economically viable for the farmers. Because there are a lot of initiatives and very important and very useful, but that means that it's for free, this food, when then turns to not be economically viable. So far, what tasty and healthy food we developed. So our first product that we just launched in the market 6 months ago, it's the organic vegetable cracker. So these are crackers. You can see here what I'm saying about. It's made of rescue vegetable. And we are working with farmers together in developing this product. So what I'm saying with that is that we don't come and say we will do a beetroot cracker. We go to the farmers, and that's also a very important aspect, that during the EFSET we start to understand, we started to be more critical on the way toward sustainability from this bottom-up approach rather than from a top-down approach. And it's like, okay, in order to really create impact, we need to know actually the actual need. So we went, and it's like the farmers were the ones to say, I have a problem with beetroot, I have a problem with carrot, I have a problem with leek. And it's like, okay, from that we will create a product. And this is the product right now that we just launched, and it's made of 35% fresh vegetable. So far, so you have a little bit of hungry. This is the applications that we are selling the product sales. So you can eat it alone, eat it for your savory dip, eat it to your salad. So we wanted to really have this platform product that is very friendly to different uses, and also as a platform product that you can create much more things from this own basic recipe, which also for a business is very important, because launching a product is amazingly expensive. So when you have a platform product, allows you to diversify your portfolio pretty much quickly than other products. So a little bit about the Holy Crackers is that, and also connected with the fact of sustainable food system and the concept of sustainability, is that for us was important to have a healthy product. If not, it will be nice to have, it's a must. And it is organic and Nutri-Score, reducing calories, source of fiber. Of course, it's plant-based, no conservatives, and no nuts. And it's pretty much natural. So it's 80% the vegetable, 35, depending on the type of cracker. And then we have some flour, and then lime seeds. And then the rest of it are condiments. So far, as already said before, we have beetroot as a cracker. The beetroot is mostly the caliber, the challenges that face the farmers. Then we have carrot and cumin, and here we have that carrots usually aesthetically are not so nice. Here we have the so-called ugly veggies, and also sometimes are very little, very thin from the sizes. And then we have leek and nutmeg that I mentioned before. It has sometimes a little spot on the top of the green part of the leek, and then because of that, it's thrown away. We are using most of the, important. All vegetable is peeled, and this is another part of sustainability. I'm really highlighting the sustainable aspects, so you made a connection with what we learned on the EFSET. So when we talk about sustainable food systems, it's not only sustainability at production, at sourcing, at end consumer. It's really to try to do our best in all stages, to see it holistically. So another important aspect challenge also was, okay, let's try to use everything that can be humanly eatable. So there's no peeling, so everything that can be eaten is eaten. So with the beetroot, there's no peel, everything goes inside. The pastinaki and the carrot also the same. Here, maybe it will be very interesting. Could be that some of you thought about, okay, do you use the green leaves? In some of our initial products, actually, we use the green leaves as well, but later we realized that most of it, there's no waste in the agricultural by our farmers. So most of the carrot is, the carrot cells and no peeling it. So far, we have rescued in these 6 months of launch of these two products, beetroot and carrot, 2.2 tons of vegetables from our first farmer, which it was very important to measure impact. And that's also related to when you think about sustainability and how we can make our food system better. It's not only thinking about the idea, oh yeah, rescuing food sounds pretty good, sounds amazing, but it's very important to measure impact. And so right now we are on that measurement. And for the 6 months, we are very happy to say, okay, there is indeed a need, and we can prove that in these 6 months. Obviously, we cannot tell the same in the next 5 years because it's still on a process of learning, knowing the ratios, but so far there is. And most important, and this is a little bit a part of the EFSET experience, but something when we're talking about business and when we're talking about food, it has to taste good. So it doesn't matter that there's a great mission behind it, great social commitment, but if food doesn't taste good, people will buy it once because they like it, they like the idea, they want to try, but they will not buy it twice. And then the whole impact that you can create, then it doesn't worth it. So taste is a very big part of actually creating food that can have an impact on sustainability. And so far we're very happy that people are very well receiving the product. We have been here and there, a lot of events, and giving the crackers to the people and say, hey, tell me what you think, so we can improve it. And my last 2 slides are regarding a little bit the history behind Holy Roots. And after we finished the EFSET, in the EFSET, I met my colleague, Duyendo. You can see us actually here. We're here. And during this training, we were almost finished before Corona time. So we had all these cool activities where we worked together in teams and at the university. It's where we met, and thanks to that phase where we both start, because it's very holistic, the program, and you get to know different areas of the food system, but also not only from the theoretical part, but you also exchange on the practical aspect. So we have this like common knowledge, and we got pretty engaged with being actively working to create our food system more sustainable, that we got involved in another competition that is part of the EIT food, where the EFSET is also part of it. and it was a competition, an international food innovation competition of entrepreneurship. And there we won second place. And there is where, yeah, it was like, okay, our idea works, our prototype, because for one whole year we work on the business idea and the prototype. Look how it looks. This is our first prototype. These are the holy crackers now, how they are in the market. And yeah, during that year, that was the times of Corona, that we literally prepare our product in the kitchen. And at the end, we won second place, and then we got the very good opportunity that one investor was there on the jury, and they say, okay, we love the idea, we love the product also, let's work together. And that's how Holy Roots now make it out in the market. And since 6 months ago, we are in more than 300 stores in Belgium. So if anybody in Belgium, they can grab their Holy Roots there and try it and let me know. And yeah, that's how we end up here today where we are. So yeah, that is kind of all my presentation. I'm very looking forward to the Q&A section, because I hope that you have a lot of questions. Yeah, if you like the presentation, you like to know more about Holy Roots or in general the experience before, don't hesitate to contact me. I'm very active in the social media, especially LinkedIn. And also, if you like Holy Roots, we are very, very happy if you support us through Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. Thank you very much. That's it.
Well, Paula, thank you. That was really good to hear how EFSET has led to this this new business venture, and that's really exciting. As ever, I've got questions, but I would prefer it if other people that are listening want to come in with their questions first. I don't know whether anybody wants to either stick their hand up or put the camera on and ask a question about EFSET. Otherwise, I will start asking questions. Is there anybody who wants to come in with a question?
Please, really looking forward.
I have a
Sophia,
question if I can.
Yes, please.
I have a question about the Holy Roots to Paola.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like an amazing concept, and I'm curious if it's possible to buy the product also in other countries. I did some research now, but I didn't find any online stores.
Yes, so far we don't have online store. We have our website, it's holyroots.com. We are actively in Belgium. In Belgium, it's where we launched our product 6 months ago, and now we are trying really hard to bring it to the German market. So Germany will be the second country. Hopefully at the end of this year will be available, and that type of places where you could probably buy Holy Roots is we're targeting supermarkets, because that's the way that we have our revenue. So from organic stores to also premium retailers, and hopefully we'll have also our online shop soon, and also in pop-up stores in the city. We are here located in Stuttgart. So important for us is that the product is available to everybody, because that's also pretty nice. I think that as students, we struggle a lot to find sustainable products that are affordable. So we're really working hard to bring it to everywhere. Where are you from?
Currently from Poland.
Okay. Okay, I will keep mine Poland.
Yes, please. I will move to Austria. That's closer to Germany.
Okay, good to know. Yeah.
Thank you.
Paula, just following on from that, do you think there is the opportunity to provide the product online and to have online shopping and to post to different parts of Europe?
Yes, we're working on our online shop that will be live at the end of this semester, so maybe November and December. What we are doing right now is a part of our retail chains in Belgium, that it's also, like, for example, we are also catering, because the snacks also are available in tapas format. So here I have the Holy Roots. I will take it out. And if somebody say, hey, I have an event, I have 100 persons, and I would like to have your Holy Roots as a snack, that is also something that we are providing, since, yeah, apparently it's perfectly for events. That was not part of our business model, but now it's slowly, they are requesting it because it works perfectly good for it. So this is a product. This is how it's sold in the retailers. But for events, we are selling, if they want the tapa format, so they can put chips or something, or for seminars, that is available, and we just ship it to the person that asked for it.
Dimitrios, can I come in and ask you a question about, yeah, there may be people listening that think they want to get involved at their university. I mean, I guess I should know the answer to this, but is EFSET continuing in some form? Is it? I mean, we see a lot of initiatives that are very successful while they have some core funding, but then when the core funding runs out, they don't. It struggles to sustain them. So what is the current position with EFSET?
Well, yes, as you probably guessed, Julian, this is the EFSET is not continuing because it was the funding ran out last year. What I'm trying to do is honestly to, because I also moved to university, is to find colleagues, maybe a funding opportunity to continue again with this European. This would be my aim. I would like also to contact again maybe Alex, Harley in Reading, but also other colleagues, because it's a nice experience. It's extremely rewarding, Julian, to see Paula, to see Dijen, to see what has came out of. This is the most rewarding aspect in academic teaching, to be honest. How this can evolve, and hopefully we can convince people with the successful cases that we see in reality, in tangible, what you can come out as a start by bringing 2-3 people together, and we need this. This is the importance. And I intend, at least in the future, to try to talk to more people and bring maybe a continuation of the EFSET or another form of. We need such in this world of complexity that we are living in food systems. We need people to see the big picture, and then they have ideas like Paola and Duyan. This is the most amazing thing.
Well, I would like to emphasize something that I said on my presentation, but really pointed out the interdisciplinarity aspect and the international aspect that we experienced in the EFSET. It was a very good training, because working in interdisciplinary teams and international teams, the outcome is great, but it's challenging. Like, right now my colleague and I'm Western mindset, she's Asian mindset, and obviously the outcome is so far amazingly good, but we need to understand to work together, and you can only reach that when you are on hands and you have this training. That definitely, if we wouldn't have this training, would be very challenging to take the best of us, because and this is only training, and if you don't put people on our own with different ideas and that they have this experience, it's very difficult that when it comes to a real scenario, they manage together. Because I have also had the experience when people are not so exposed to international, to working with international people, also with people with different disciplines, it's very hard. So it's part of an important training that us as students, we need to have. So really, I also really recommend for all the students here that engage in international interdisciplinary activities. Because somebody, for example, I'm a business mindset, and my colleague is a food scientist. She's very technical, and we both need to understand our language, and we need to reach the middle and bring the best of each perspective. Because otherwise, if we are not used to exchange and know to listen, then you have fights. And then that great outcome that could be happening, it will not be happening because we are so on our perspective. So we need to learn to work in teams.
Thanks, Paula. And maybe then a follow-up question to both of you. How important do you think it was to the students that there was a strong industrial collaboration? In other words, that potentially students thinking about future employment, wanting to potentially engage with future employers, or at least hear the types of skills and knowledge that those employers would be requiring in the future. Maybe Dimitrios, I don't know whether you want to start, and then Paula come in.
Well, it's better, honestly, if Paula reports about this, but it was for us at the beginning, the idea that we have them to better define the challenges that we are facing. Because sometimes as academics, as researchers, we are a little bit far from the real market, we can call it. We know maybe some other terminology about scientific terminology and how to bring people together. But the real problem, like Paola also mentioned, should come from the industry. So that's why we involved them at the beginning. And in fact, for our training and our summer school, they were setting the challenges. They were setting the challenges that the students will be working on. And this was a nice idea. But please, Paola.
Thank you.
I will say that it's fundamental because there's a lot, in theory, a lot of things sounds, and here it's going to be a little bit of a pessimistic aspect, but it's reality. In theory, there are a lot of things that sounds great, but in practice, is sometimes not viable at the moment. So it's important to have the perspective from different stakeholders and definitely the industry to know how it works. It opens a lot the eyes. So I can, and also to have industry people involved. I mean, this is one aspect to understand that there will be, to build a sustainable food system, there's no perfect company or startup that can say that they are sustainable 100%. We can only do better because there are so many trade-offs. And as a startup, I can say that you come with an idea, you know, like super sustainable, but then you have reality. And then you say, okay, you need to do the trade-offs and you need to know what is the best of it. And the second is that when you have the industry involved, and also for us as students, what happened to us is that there was the industry partners, and we never know that there was a potential investor there. So it was really a great source of future employment, or if you want to do an investor, that somebody hears you and say, okay, this person has vision, this person has a great idea, I want to promote them.
Thank you. I'm very aware of time, and we do like to finish in a timely manner. So unless there's any last questions that have come in, I'm going to say a big thank you to Dimitrios and a big thank you to Paola. I think it was a very informative and exciting presentation. If I may be so bold, Dimitrios, can I say that if there's anybody online that is perhaps interested in rejuvenating some form of collaboration, that they should get in touch with either yourself or myself? I know we've said we're going to chat in a few weeks anyway, but if anybody would like to think about, you know, ways of sustaining such an opportunity going forward, then by all means get in touch. I look forward, Paola, to the day when we can buy Holly Roots in the supermarkets or in various shops in the UK, or indeed online. It looks like a really exciting initiative, and I'm sure we all wish you well. So thank you once again. Thank you, colleagues, for joining. We will try and run another webinar probably in the next academic year now, and we hope colleagues will join us at that point. So thank you. Have a good summer. Those that are traveling, travel safely, and we'll hopefully catch up with some of you in the autumn. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao. Adios.
Adios.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ooh.